Hello, thanks for joining in. Let's start off with a meditation, but a little bit different form of meditation, maybe than many people are used to, of receiving, taking in sacred, divine life energy. It's very easy to do. Please sit with your legs uncrossed, feet flat on the floor, hands on your legs, palms facing upwards, back in a relaxed upright position, if possible, not leaning against your chair. And then close your eyes and really separate yourself from all burdens, all worries. Hand them over to your understanding of a higher power. Hand them over to a spiritual helper you trust. And then ask to receive the divine healing energy and observe your body having the will and intention to take that in. Here's a quote from Bruno Groening, who taught this spiritual practice. He said, "Human beings never listen to what is inside them because human beings have come away from the divine, the true divine guidance. They pay no attention to themselves or their bodies. They did not listen to what was inside of them, and they also did not follow their feeling and also did not live in the will of God." So let's listen deeply inside ourselves. Having the intention, the will to receive. going to paraphrase here, but Bruno Groening said very clearly that God lives within us and that we need to listen. He said, listen to your conscience, which is in your soul, which is where the divine spark is. And I'm paraphrasing here. It's not the exact words, but the meaning. So that there's a you could say a piece of God, or that really within us is something that knows and can guide us. So let's really tune into that, because what is life but a series of decisions and actions, right? Here on this earth, that's what life is. We do stuff. We say stuff, we do stuff. We think stuff all day long. But the thing is what is guiding those thoughts? What is guiding those words? What is guiding our actions? Bruno Groening was very adamant that we are always guided in every moment. The question, however, is what are we guided by? Are we guided by fear or by love? Are we guided by God or by ego, or God and evil, or God or ignorance, wisdom or ignorance? Moment by moment, thought by thought, word by word, deed by deed, we are guided. The question is by what? So right here, right now, we can practice tuning into the divine frequency, transmission, guidance, which is both in us, and then we can receive this energy, divine energy, which is all around us. Fill ourselves up, and then as we go through the day, seek to be guided by, seek to maintain that connection and be guided word by word, action by action, thought by thought. I'll read this quote again from Bruno. Human beings never listen to what is inside them because human beings have come away from the true divine guidance. They pay no attention to themselves or to their bodies. They did not listen to what was inside them, and also did not follow their feeling, and also did not live in the will of God. So that's an interesting phrase, the will of God, right? So the way I understand God is that which is the creator of all of this, and that which has infinite wisdom. So and his goodness and his love and his harmony. So to align myself and be guided by that, that's a very smart decision. To be guided by infinite wisdom. But where do we find this guidance? Do we find it on a YouTube video? Or a book? Or in a church? Or a temple? Well, certainly those things could maybe help. But ultimately, it has to come from within. According to Bruno Groening. And please find out for yourself if that's true or not. called people to be, let's read what he said. And this is from the Circle of Information, a wonderful website. And he said, a human being, must become a God listener. He must come into divine guidance. Without this, there is no life. He said, friends, don't become dependent on people, only on the one, how it is indeed in reality. We are all dependent on God. Does not man want to be free? But he has chiseled off his freedom that God gave to him from the beginning by people who are ignorant, who only live in the belief that this, that, and that must be so. He has to conform. There he became a man listener. And therefore he could not listen anymore to what God tells him. And therefore he no longer was in the divine guidance anymore. Then he becomes unsafe. Then he becomes without rights. So, how to, and at the end of this video, I'll put a link to the website and I'll post it in the chat right now. Oh, the chat's not working. So at the end, I will put a link to this underneath. So I'm going to continue reading. So how to listen to God, how to reestablish this? Well, first of all, doing this practice. And then he said, listen in silence to your conscience. Hearken, which means give your full attention. Hearken to your conscience, totally turned off. Turn off from the actions around you, turned off from the words around you, turned off from the thoughts around you. Hearken inside, and this conscience will answer to you. And how this answer will be, so let it be. So it is solely true because your conscience is your soul, and your soul is divine, is God inside of you. So, friends, here is why I want people to study Bruno's teachings themselves directly. Because as I said, it was a paraphrase, but I kind of messed up the words a little bit. I'm not a master. No, I don't know any masters. So please, I do my best to point people to Bruno Groening, and Bruno Groening points people to God. Please, study Bruno's words directly yourself, and then tune in and do what he says. Listen inside of you. Bruno Groening didn't want, to my understanding, he didn't want a single follower. He didn't want anyone following him. He wanted people following God. He didn't want to start a new religion. And doing this YouTube channel and ministry, I don't either. Yes, I love it when people show up and when, we get to share talks. And yes, it's very precious to do this together. And that's more just like a support. That's not the path. The path is being connected to God and being guided to God, as Bruno says here, to live in the divine will. And that's not abstract. He says very clearly, listen to your conscience. Your conscience is your soul. I'll read it again. It is solely true because your conscience is your soul, and your soul is divine, is God inside of you. That all of our troubles come from following people. As I said earlier, we're guided moment by moment. And when we listen to people who are not masters, then we take on wrong beliefs, and then we're following something not true. As Bruno said, we chisel away our freedom because we follow people who are just following a belief, oh, this and that. And here's what Bruno said, who live in the belief, this, that, and that must be so. When we believe that, then we feel that we have to conform. Then we're following people. Then we're not following life. We're not following infinite wisdom, infinite love. Then we're like following a set of rules. And is that person who that we took on that belief from, are they a master, or who are they following? They're following someone who just passed that belief on to them. And it just goes back. It's kind of like a rumor. I'm taking a course right now, and I can see this very clearly. And so it involves movement and physical exercises. And there's a lot of freedom, and people are invited to really sort of follow themselves. And so this is happening on Zoom, and I can watch myself feel like, oh, I have to do it just like them. And that's completely wrong. Yes, to learn a dance or learn a skill, you want to get the basic down correct. Yes, but this feeling of pressure, like, oh, I have to do it just like them. Oh, I have to follow them. No, absolutely not. We have to follow God. There are very few have tos in life. And we don't even have to. God gives us free will. So it's a conditional have to. If we want to be happy, healthy, and well, we have to follow God. There's no other way. The history of the human race is the human race experimenting with not following God. And here we are in the 21st century. It's the making of this video. It's June 2021. And we can see the results. It's like the human race was like, hypothesis. We can do this. We can do life without God, and we can do life not living close to nature. And so we've been conducting experiment for a long time, and the results are in. And now we have to, I want to, and Bruno Groening called the human race to heed the results and to turn around back to God, back to nature. And here we've talked about what it means to turn back to God, to listen deeply inside yourself. Back to God doesn't mean looking outside yourself. That's how we've been taught to find God. Go to a church, listen to a preacher, read a book, read a spiritual text or a scripture. All those things are helpful and good. I'm not trying to dissuade anyone from that. And, I said, don't believe anything I say. Please find out for yourself if it's true. How to do that. And Bruno has pointed out, listen deeply inside yourself. Follow that. This idea that we must conform to society or conform to other people. It's very dangerous, very, very dangerous. Because as Bruno said, it cuts us off from God. We then give authority to other people to make decisions for us. To decide, and not just decisions, but how to live life. So I'd like to thank everyone who joined in and everyone who watched this video. And I'm going to close this out with a little prayer. Please, God, dear friend Bruno, dear friend Christ, for everyone who watched this video live or will watch it, please, the highest blessing. Please, for this channel, all related activities to this ministry. I don't even want to call it a ministry, but I don't have another word for it because most ministries are based around following the minister, and this is like a point to God ministry. But regardless, please, for everyone sharing Bruno Groening's work, please, for everyone sharing the work of Christ, please, for everyone striving for the good, seeking the good in so many ways. And now let's inwardly ask. We all have situations. We all have challenges. Let's ask. Let's give the challenges away and just ask for help with them. For anyone in our life who we want to ask for a blessing for. For harmony and order in every aspect of our lives. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Have a blessed day, and thank you so much for joining in. I'm not sure why the chat wasn't working today, and I wish everyone a beautiful day. Take care.